and we are good to go. And I just want to show you, this is the first door. That's the second door. And if you spin around, you can see this is a direct line for the gate. And we are ready to rock in the morning. We are expecting the concrete trucks here at 6:15 in the morning. So I just wanted to show you, yep, we're going to have a pad this time tomorrow. That's a good thing. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys what was up. They worked all day today to get that ready to go. So, all right, so if you're already here, smash that like button. All right, so let's go inside where it's cooler, and let's answer some questions. Right, sweetheart?
Yep.
She don't want to be on camera, but she's going to be on camera.
No.
Look, look, look. Thank you very much, Marvin. I appreciate that very much. Let's get in there with the air conditioners on. It's still a little chilly. I mean, it's a little sticky out here right now. It's probably 80 degrees and 90% humidity. It's okay, though. It's worth it. But, yeah, from the gate here, so just a straight shot from the gate here, and that'll be the two doors. It'll be right there. Straight in from the gate, you can see the tracks in their yard where they bring the trucks in. But yeah, I'm happy. So I'll be up early because I've got the video of where they built all that today uploaded for Tuesday. So you guys know that's coming on Tuesday morning. And what else? Oh, I'll be up with the cameras documenting everything in the morning for the full pour. And I'll have that one probably up Wednesday, maybe Tuesday next week. But so it's been a very busy week. It's been a great week, actually. You want to do here? All right, so we're going to spin around and get the right shot here. There we go. All right. And what I got going on for videos for the channel, I'm going to be filming a video this week about how to home polish a crankshaft. And I've got all this stuff right here. And basically, all you need to home polish the crankshaft is you need some 320 grit emery cloth, some 400 grit wet dry, and a can of brake clean. And that's all it takes to home polish a crankshaft, so you ain't got to spend all those hundreds of dollars to take it to the machine shop and get it polished and get it turned and all that kind of good biz. Because the crankshaft that I have for the new build is a standard crankshaft, and if you're going to ask me about miking it, I don't have a mic. I mean, I don't have one. So we're going to use plastic gauge. And so I'm not going to take any material off of it. I'm just going to polish it up and make it look pretty again. And use plastic gauge to see how we're sitting when we put it in the saddles with the main bearings and the rod bearings. You know, and then if it doesn't work out, then we'll take it out and we'll take it to the machine shop. But I'm going to try this to save a couple bucks and plastic gauges so that I know it worked good or bad. All right. So how was y'all's week? I know mine been pretty dadgum busy. I've been running like crazy.
Project HQ says, good evening, Uncle Buck.
Do what?
Project HQ.
Oh, how you doing? Yeah, Project HQ. You guys look it up. I'll put another link in the listing when I revamp it after we're over. I mean, check his channel out. By the way, I got to say, the sound on the new one is excellent. I mean, miles ahead of what you did on the first video. You did so good. And yeah, just little things. Just keep throwing me questions, anything you got. I mean, the more I can help, the more, I can help. I'd be more than happy to help, anything to do to get you up and running.
Rail 920 222 says hi all.
Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, let's get you a little closer here. Am I centered good? Am I purdy tonight? I'm just in a good mood. I mean, I'm really in a good mood. And we had a lot. It was the fun part about for me was being out there with all those construction worker guys, because I grew up in the shop welding for 20 years, and just the banter, just the guys that's worked together forever, and they can say anything to each other and not get mad. It just reminded me so much of all my guys at Van Buren Bridge for all those years. You know, you don't, when you leave a job, you don't miss the job. You miss your guys. You miss your people. You really do. So it really was refreshing to hear a couple of old hands just giving each other hell. It was a lot of fun. But no, I don't really. Besides, I'm focused. I'm just focused on getting that thing poured in the morning and getting that, and just being able to get that process done so I can take the pictures and I can get the building ordered. Because the way they do it is that they won't start producing it or building the packet until the pad is poured. So you send them a picture. Once the pad is done, you know, the casings are off the outside of it and they can see the pad is right. Then they'll start building your building. So that's, if they're busy, it might be 5 weeks. If they're not busy, it might be 2 weeks. And then it's just a matter of them coming with a flatbed and coming in and dropping it on the pad and waiting for the guys to show up, the crew to show up to put it up in a day and a half. And then the fun starts.
And Scanlon says, no, you still an old man. LOL.
Yeah. Yep. It's good to see you, though. I mean, Thomas, it was good to see. Is that Michael or Thomas?
Michael.
Oh, okay. Thomas, if you're watching, it was good to see you the other day. It really was. I mean, I'm glad you got out. I mean, I know you've been having a lot of health problems, but I mean, I was glad to see you. I really was. Done my heart good. But I'm documenting the whole process of what it costs and the little things that I learned. I've got some pointers from the owner of the company, the concrete company. I mean, just everything that I learned, I'm going to pass on to you guys. So in the future, if you guys decide to do this, you'll have a nice little rule book to go by, so that you don't have anything jump up at you. Are you awake?
Yeah. Yeah, I was almost out.
I know. She's had a long day too. But she went to, what's it called? Growing Kids thing. It's at the fairgrounds. It's a huge thing, and it's all used kid stuff. And we got the boys some goodies from when they come back from the trip from California. So she was happy. She was happy to go shopping. I mean, the minute she got off the phone today and got off work, she was in the truck and gone.
Yeah.
But
once the slab is poured, you will feel great. It's finally happening feeling.
Just having it out there and set and ready to go for first thing in the morning. And I already have my alarm set. I already have my alarm set for in the morning. I mean, I am so up. It's been months and months and months getting this plan and trying to get this done. And it's tomorrow morning can't come fast enough. It really can't.
It's your Christmas.
It's my Christmas. Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, this is the next step to take all of this farther. Oh, another thing is that one of the guys, his son is just starting VOTEC. He's a junior in high school, and he wanted to know if he could bring him by and have him work with me next summer when he's off, so he could learn, because he wants to learn how to build old stuff. A new guy wanting to build old stuff, which pops in my mind. Another thing that I watched today, did you know attendance for NHRA is way down?
Yeah.
Yeah, the attendance for NHRA is just bottoming out. And there's two theories. Okay, you guys bear with me. Two theories. The first is that people are broke, which
Duh.
they're really not. But the other theory is that, I don't know, I worked with them, the 18 to 25-year-olds, 16, I worked with them. They don't want to drive. They don't care about cars. They don't have no interest. They'd rather play video games. So where our fathers were into cars and trucks, we're into cars and trucks. Our kids are kind of into cars. I know mine are, and my son-in-law and everything. But the new generation, they could care less. They're not into cars. There are some out there, but to the like we were in the 60s and 70s and 80s, it's not there anymore. They could care less. They would rather just take an Uber. They have no want to even get a driver's license. It's just not in them. So if I can help build that fire into a 16-year-old this next summer, I'm all in. Because if you're not bringing in the next generation, sooner or later it's going to be gone. I mean, just the knowledge and just the drive to do hot rods, the drive to make your car your own, unique to you, to customize it how you want, tires, exhaust, tuners, even the rice burners. Gotta love them. They're still turning wrenches, but the new generation they're just not there when it comes to the car community.
Armando says, I appreciate your videos on TDC. Help me out. Thank you.
Top Dead Center. My pleasure. That's what this is all about. And that's what I was telling the guy that was the concrete guy today. It was like, that's the only reason I just set up a camera to explain what I was doing, rebuilding an old truck. And it just me being me. And it just started taking off. And the more I do, the more it's online, the more it lives. That's the way I feel about it. It's just revamping the old stuff that we learned when we were kids. But the whole, like when it comes to motorsports, I mean, Europe is still big, huge for Formula One and all that kind of good stuff. But drag racing and hot rodding are becoming a dying thing. NHRA is having issues because the generations are just not coming up in it. Because it was a big deal in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. Drag racing was huge. It was monstrous. National Hot Rod Association was a monstrous thing, and everybody showed up. It was like the Super Bowl every weekend. And now you see pictures of the stands, and there are spaces in between the asses on all the seats. It's not funny. It's not fun to watch. It's not fun to look at. When there's going to be a problem is when NASCAR's numbers start dropping. Then there's a problem. Then that there has to be something radically done to get the kids back into hot rodding. But yep, the new video is going to be polishing a crankshaft at home for $12 instead of taking it to the shop and waiting for months and months and months to get it back and spending $200 to do it. But while we're talking about it, I know, before you say it, I know I got to redo the rear end. But is there anything specific that any of you guys, my regular guys, any of you guys would be interested in me making a video about or how to do?
Could you, Project HQ says, could you imagine if we had Google and YouTube when we grew up?
We'd have been dead. Okay, our generation, we learned by going and helping, getting dirty in the gravel, and, stabbing transmissions by hand, in the rain, under the oak tree, if we'd had the internet when we were young, we'd have built some monstrous cars and we probably wouldn't be alive. I mean, truly, if you think about it, because the beaters that we run back in the day, bad brakes, bad suspensions, bad everything. If we'd have known how to build a, you know, a turboed, whatever, nitrous injected, whatever, if we knew how to do all that stuff back in the day, none of us would have lived. We'd been all wrapped around trees. You know, it was the best way we could have learned was those baby steps of a little bit faster and a little bit faster, and a little bit faster, instead of just jumping right in the pool, you know, neck deep in it and trying not to drown. You know, nowadays, you know, because we've had that upbringing, doing it the hard way and learning by doing, you know, we can appreciate that. But again, that's why nothing I'm doing is new. This is all stuff we did in the 80s. You know, it's just become a dead art. I'm just bringing back all the old school stuff, you know. I mean, I got books and books, and these are all from the 80s, you know, how to rebuild Hollies, you know, how to hot rod a big block, how to, you know, hot rod a small block, how to rebuild, how to do this, how to do that. It was all in those books, you know. And I really think that the 80s was really the golden age, because the aftermarket was coming out like gangbusters, and it was really popular, and everybody was doing it. And, you know, you could still get in the mid 80s, you could still get 70s cars, you know, even 60s cars. You know, there was all kinds of Novas and Malibus and all kinds of stuff around. You could get a decent chassis, you know. But yeah, the internet is great if you haven't lived with the internet, because when you haven't lived with the internet, you learn other things besides just what's on the internet. That makes sense? I hope that makes sense. Because if you don't have any practical application, you can watch it all day long, you really don't get it. You know, until you get your hands dirty and get in there elbow deep and, you know, stop what you're doing and go and drive in an hour and go and helping a friend when he's broke down on the side of the road and getting him running again and getting him, you know. I don't know how many times I got called in the 80s for, you know, my sisters broke down with, you know, an hour away down the highway, you know, with a flat tire and don't have a spare, you know, and you got to load everything up and take your hot rod, you know, and spend all your gas money that you didn't have money for, you know, to go get them, you know, because it was a different era then. There was more camaraderie. There was more helpfulness. I don't know. I don't have a word for it. It was a different time. The 80s was a different time. You would stop what you were doing and you would go help your friend so he could go to work the next morning to get him fixed. You know, and I'm sorry, with this new generation, I don't see a lot of that. Now, because I got to stay home and my kids got to spend a lot of summers in the garage with me, they learned that. You know, and my friends that I'm still friends with today is the same thing. I got a handful of friends that if they called me right now, I'd be in my truck and I'd be going to their house to help. No questions asked. And the same for me. If I made the call, they would load up and they would show up within half an hour. You know, but the new generation, the new kids aren't like that. I can't put my finger on it. They're just not the same. But I'm hoping to change that. I'm hoping Buck University, you know, I could, one kid at a time, get him that fire burnt in his, to, you know, want to build something old and want to build something fun and want to build something simple. Because I already got asked by all the guys on the crew if I'm going to be working on cars. Sure, I'm going to be working on cars. It's got a computer on it. I'm not going to touch it. So about 70 or 81 and older is about what I'm going. If it's got a computer on it, I'm not touching it. You guys got any questions?
Project HQ's here. At what age would you consider next generation?
The newest generation. The 16 to 25s. I had a night jet when I was getting the business off the ground. I worked nights for several years, about 8 years, and I had been out of the mix for a long time. In my own little world. Working around friends, jumped in the middle of the pool with the new generation kids coming out of high school, and thank the Lord I was there, because I changed more tires and jumped more batteries and Slim Jim more locks than I did my whole entire life before that. 50 years before that. And I mean, it was like every night they left something on, battery dead. Every night there was a tire need to be changed, and I had to stop what I'm doing, grab my jacket, my stuff, because these kids didn't even know how to open their trunk. Remember when we took driver's ed? It was part of the curriculum that you learned where the jack was. You learned where the spare tire was. You learned how to change it on your own on the side of the road. That was part of driver's ed. They don't teach that anymore. It's not taught. Shop classes are not taught anymore. If you're not playing football, they're not spending money on it. It's just not taught anymore. And plus, they don't care. They would rather just take an Uber. The ones that have cars don't even know where the dipstick is. They don't know where to add coolant to. They don't know. They don't have a clue. They just have a set of keys, and if it doesn't start, they're lost. But 18 to 25s. 16, 18 to 25s right now. They need a little help. They really need a little help.
Would it be better to rebuild a Quadrajet or buy a new Edel or Holly?
I'm not a Quadrajet fan. I'm not an Edelbrock fan. I'm a Holly guy. I've been doing Holly since I was 16 years old. That's what I know. Now, I've got friends, that's all I did was Quadrajets, and that's what they know. And they, if you give them the choice, Chevy, Dodge, Ford, it's, they all have their little picadillos. But I just know Hollies inside and out. I know how to make them work. I know how to tune them. So if it was me, it would be a Holly. But Edelbrock is not a bad carburetor. Rebuilt Quadrajet is not a bad carburetor. They're none of them are bad. It's just your personal choice. But if it was me, yeah, the Quadrajet would go and the Holly would go on. And the Edelbrocks are too much like Webers, and Webers were never good carburetors. That's one I can definitely say from my experience that Webers were never good. They are like the problem child of the industry. Webers were. On Chryslers, oh my goodness. I mean, yeah.
What's the best pill for 350 as a Holly guy?
What's the best what?
Pill.
Pill? Best pill for a Holly?
As a Holly guy, yeah. For 350 as a Holly guy.
You talking about the size of the carburetor? Or the vacuum secondary or double pumper? Help me explain it to me a little bit. Oh, while I'm waiting, smash the like button. Smash that like button. And there'll probably be something scrolling underneath the bottom screen. Check out a t-shirt. Help support the channel a little bit. Every little bit helps. Well, I know that thing back there ain't cheap. I got it covered, but it ain't cheap. But for a stock with stock intake and stock exhaust and 2-in-1 into a muffler and at the back pipe, a 600 vacuum secondary is your way to go. Now, if you got anything like headers, intake, anything 750, vacuum secondary is the way to go. If you're going to the racetrack and you're running 65, 7,000 RPMs and you got aluminum heads on it, and everything is top notch, and you got MSD ignition on it, $750 bumper for a small block.
That car guy, he says I live in BFE and it keeps buffering, so I'll need to. I'm guessing he meant rewatch. I'm 40 and I feel a lot like yourself, although I'm more into modern stuff, but cut my teeth on a SBF stuff. That's being said, I have recently got a SBC and carbs.
Ford guide. Cool.
We are definitely a dying breed.
Yes.
Vortec heads 25 to 31 on a single pumper.
Okay, Vortec heads on a single pumper. Yeah, that's a vacuum secondary. Yeah, that's good. I mean, if it's a 600 or 700, 750, you're good to go. You know, once you go above 750, though, you're going to have to start thinking about fuel volume and a bigger pump. You can go mechanical pump, but get a bigger mechanical pump to handle the volume that carburetor is going to need. But yeah, no.
Would you build a 350 GMC crate motor or trade it out?
My son, whenever we had his GMC four-wheel drive, his 78 model, we put a crate engine in it. It was great. I mean, the Motorcraft, the crate engines that come 3-year, 50,000 miles, and everything on it's brand new. And if you can find it on sale, snatch them up because they're solid engines. You know, you put some intake on it and some exhaust and a little 600 or 750 vacuum secondary, and it's fun time. And it'll idle good, and it'll last forever. I love crate engines. I really do. The Goodwrench, you know, with the warranty, brand new from the factory, they're great little engines.
Said Rad, mine's a 78.
Yep. And the one I'm building right now, Bamalam, she's an 80. And I got that frame, and like I said, everything is kind of on a hiatus for the serious building until that's done, because that's my priority right now. It's getting that in the dry. But then once that happens, all bets are off. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff down the pike. I'm just sitting here thinking, well, 6 o'clock in the morning, that cement truck's rolling in, and I'm just like, I'm not going to sleep good tonight. I am just, this is a big step for us. And you know what funny part about it? It was her idea. It was her idea. I mean, I was kind of thinking about it, but she gave me, you know, I mean, 33 years. She's my best friend, and she's been, when Christina says, this is what you need to do, you should do this. And she said, you should build a shop because you're out of space. You need a shop. You know, can't argue with it. Can't argue with it. You can't argue with having, you know, your best friend in the whole world, you know, be there to support you. I can't tell you how important that is. I mean, she's my ride and die. Always has been, always will be. I love you, baby.
Love you too.
But
Project HQ says Missy is why I got mine. She said the exact same thing to me.
yeah, I mean, I hate to tell this story, but the last time that I was in a hot rod and Christina was in a hot rod with me, and I had a guy pull up beside me on the middle of the road, and you know that look you get from the guy in the other lane, and he's vroom, vroom. And I looked over at her and she said, no. And I grabbed gears. And the ass squats, the front comes up, and the RPMs go way up, and she's looking at me the whole time like I'm about to die. Or no, like she's about to kill me, right? And you can't help it. If you get, if you got a guy beside you, rum, rum, but that's the last time that I actually ever did that with her in the car. Because once you go through the gears and you've won, and you go, oh, the front end goes down, and you're running out, your RPM off, you're still in gear, and you're happy because you won. And I look over, and she looks me straight in the eyes. She says, "Don't you ever effing do that again with me in the car." But I never did it again with her in the car. Never did it. But I mean, we were young. We were just married. This is 32, 33 years ago. But I'll never forget that look on her face. Like, if you ever do that again, I'm going to kill you. But then 30 years later, she wants to go down drag strip, and she did. Oh, let's go ahead and do that. Okay. You guys know that video. You guys know the video that she was driving the first truck. We went to the drag strip and she got a time slip. I still don't have a winner for that t-shirt. Okay. So go find that drag strip slip, the one where we went to Centerville a summer ago, and guess her 1,000-foot time in that truck. And if you guess it, I'll send you a t-shirt for free. I got lots of them leftovers. I got boxes of them. And, if you can guess her time, because I still have the time slip, it's on the fridge in the house. So if you can guess her time.
Because I won. Because he red lit.
Yeah, he red lit. She won. She was happy. Big smile. Big smile. She was happy. But the video is on my list. You can find it. And on that video, if you watch it and you put a time in and you hit it, I'll send you a t-shirt for free.
See, Michael says once the new shop is up and in the dry, then you can worry about Mustang for the boss.
Yep, Mustang for the boss. Yep, I know. It's kind of bugging me sitting right there. It really is. I'm just going through the whole Rolodex of what I'm going to get to do, because I'm thinking once it's dry and I get that lift, I can get Bam Lam up in the air, get exhaust underneath it, get everything tightened up, and not have to be on my back trying to weld upside down, trying to put exhaust in and stuff like that, tack things up. It's going to be so nice to not have to get up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Just to get it up in the air where I can get underneath it and do what I need to do. It's going to be a game changer for me and for y'all.
Trent says my wife, 27 years, is angry right now. I'm hiding in the shop. LOL.
Okay. All right. Listen, I don't hunt. I don't fish. I do hot rods. So there's guys out there to spend their off time away from the wives, on the lake, boating, hunting, fishing. It doesn't matter. Mine is cars. Okay. Mine is hot rods. My garage is my sanctuary where I can just turn everything off and not think about the bills, not think about the kids, not think about the family. I can put my head down, get work done, get something accomplished, feel good about what I accomplished, and get some downtime for me. Okay. I don't think our wives sometimes understand how important that is for us.
We do, because we need that.
Well, not the same way.
Maybe not doing the cars, but yeah, yes.
It's not the same. You guys need your downtime too, but for us, we need a task. We need a task to do, because that's where we're wired. That's the way our brains are wired. That's the boy-girl thing.
Well, it's women do the same thing. Find a task, and no matter what it is,
You guys find hobbies. No, that's not a good word.
I was gonna say, what the heck is the car? It's a hobby. The garage is a hobby.
Yeah, okay, I can argue with that. But I make money doing mine.
I spend money doing mine.
You spend money doing yours, exactly.
Yeah.
I make money doing mine.
And I get your money. I don't see a problem.
Yeah, of course she doesn't see a problem.
That car guy says, I'm currently putting a Vortec 350 in my square body roller 880 block, but it doesn't have a fuel pump mounting post.
Right.
What electric pump would you recommend?
Don't go anything AutoZone or O'Reilly's brand. Go AC Delco. I tried to go cheap route. When my daughter was in high school, she had a Formula Firebird with a 350, with the tune port and everything. Fuel injected, the whole 9 yards. And I went through 7 or 8 fuel pumps in a year because I was trying to go cheap out with their company brand until I finally built the bullet and got an AC Delco direct replacement. And that's the only way to go. And after I did that, she drove it all through high school, never had a problem. Never broke down. I mean, I was going and picking that damn car up every month. I mean, she'd be pulling out of the parking lot and it would just die. Dead. And I had to go, come along it or winch it up onto the trailer and drop the tank, cut the exhaust, put a new one in, put it all back up to have to do it again in another month. Okay, so if you're going to do it, put an AC Delco pump in that tank. Because anything else, 2 months, 1 month, 1 week down the line, you're going to be dropping that tank again and doing it again. Just spend the money so that you have the peace of mind. Get a direct replacement GM part. Not one of those cheap Chinese made pieces of shit from O'Reilly's or AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts. Don't do it. AC Delco. And I don't know if you guys have watched any of my stuff. Everything I buy when it comes to fuel pumps and things like that, it's AC Delco. I don't mess around. It's because I've learned my lesson. Especially if you can find old stock. The old NOS stock, gold. If you find it, buy it. Because sooner or later you're going to need it.
Sleepless Night says, my guess is 10.5.
Ooh. But did you put it in? That's actually, I shouldn't say this, but actually, that's actually pretty close. But you got to watch the video. You got to put it in the comments of the video. Okay, that's the one thing I'm going to say. You have to put it in the comments of the video.
Sleepless Night says, good day from Las Vegas.
Going there in November. Second week in November, 10th to the 15th. We're going to be there. I'm staying at the Four Queens, our favorite place in the whole world. We love Fremont Suite. That is our place. We love the beer garden. Huh?
That's where the freaks come out at night.
But the Four Queens beer garden next to the Band Riser on Fremont Street is the place to be every night. We love the Four Queens. Love the Four Queens. We stay there every time we go. Now we get the Deuce and we go up on the strip, and we work our way from the south end all the way, back. But we stay on Fremont. The Four Queens has been aces to us the whole time. And when you get back late and the band's playing and you get in the beer garden and you have a cold one, there's nothing better. Nothing better.
Trent says 100% Fremont.
100% Fremont. And Pizza Rock, right out the front door of Four Queens, you go 1 block to the north and Pizza Rock's on the corner. Best freaking pizza in Vegas. Tell me if I'm wrong. Because
you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. You love Pizza Rock too.
Well, you said tell me I'm wrong. I'm telling you you're wrong.
Hardtack Grill. We're ziplining this year. She did it last time we went, but I'm going this time.
He says Evil Pie. Evil Pie?
Evil Pie. I've heard of it.
Good too.
But I'm sorry. Pizza Rock is it for me. It's like...
Well, you have to try that.
I know. Yeah, I know. I will. But we started going in '06. So it's almost 20 years. We go every couple of 3 years. And I'm sorry. I mean, I look forward for years to go back to Pizza Rock. I just do. It's, you know.
See, Trent says they're going soon.
Cool.
Project HD says Missy did the zip line and loved it.
She did too. I got
my
got
wife.
The pictures.
He said my wife. Trent said my wife did the zip line last time.
Slotzilla, baby. I'm going this time.
Yep.
I'm going Superman style.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what I did.
We're gonna go together. We're gonna go tandem.
No, we can't go tandem.
Well, I mean, same time.
Yeah.
Same time. I was busy playing poker last night.
See, are you going to the Speedway to race?
No, I was. We were originally going to go for SEMA, but because of my business, the first of the month is really where I make most of my money at my business, and SEMA is the first week of November, which I couldn't not be at my business the first week of November. That's why we're going second week. But next year I'm going to SEMA. I'm going to SEMA in 26, and because Presley is learning. My daughter-in-law is learning how to run the computer and everything at the office. So as long as somebody's there to run the computer and do everything, hey, we're going to SEMA next year. And I'm hoping, because of the bracket I made for Bamalam for the power steering bracket, I'm trying to get a deal made where I can get those made in bulk, so I can start selling them as an aftermarket manufacturer, which qualifies me to basically, if I wanted to, which I ain't going to have the money, but it would qualify for me to have like a booth at SEMA for Uncle Buck's Garage, which we are way beyond that deal right there, because, you know, that booth could be $20,000 and I'm not spending that to go to SEMA. But that's the plan for that, to a different revenue source, but we're definitely doing SEMA in 26.
Okay, so it's going to be a carb conversion. So AC Delco has a low pressure pump for carbs.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what the pump's volume or pressure is. You put a regulator on it before the carburetor, so you can regulate it down. And then you're going to need a return line, which will already be there for it because it was already fuel injected. But you just got to put a regulator on it. A Holley $25 pressure regulator gets you down to 6.5, 7.5 pounds, so you're not blowing the floats out of the carburetor, and you're good to go. I mean, it doesn't really matter what that pump is pushing as long as you can regulate it down for the carb. And then, I mean, it's all in your wiring, and you know, and then you're good to go, and you're bulletproof for a long time. Because if you think about it, AC Delco pumps last 30 freaking years. So if you do it once, you'll never have to do it again.
Project says, I proposed to her at the Bellagio Fountains last time we were there. I didn't think it was that long ago. We are due to go back.
Yeah.
Sleepless Night says, team up with Farm Truck and Asian and Street Outlaws.
Now, I've met those guys. Now, Asian bumped into me at PRI last year and recognized me from the videos, which blew my mind. Okay. But with CDRA, Central Drag Racing Association, CDRA, back in the early 2000s, I actually met Farm Truck because he was bracket racing at Thunder Valley in Oklahoma City. I've met him, but the blow in my mind part was at PRI last December, and Asian come around the corner just face to face with me. You know, I mean, okay, face to face with me. He's a little guy, but he said, "Well, hey, Uncle Buck, I've seen your videos. Do a good job. Have a good day." But he had a guy with him, and he was pulling him because he had something he had to go do. But he recognized me at PRI. But I have met Farm Truck back in the day, you know, before they were ever on television. I've met them guys before. And the thing about Farm Truck and Asian, they're the same people now as they were then. just as happy and easygoing and easy to talk to, and would take time out of your day just to talk, just to BS around. They are legitimately some of the best people in the automotive community right now. They really are. They are top notch. They're awesome. The fame part has not changed them at all. Sometimes I miss that CDRA, the Central Drag Races. So I miss that bracket series. That was a lot of fun because it's like anything else. When my old man was young, he trained quarter horses, and that's the horse equivalence of a drag race. It's 300, 330 yards. First one to the finish line wins. Okay. And I ended up taking my kids and my family on the circuit, and you end up with the same people, staying at the same hotels, eating the same continental breakfast every third weekend of the month for a whole year, and you get to know people, lives, everything, That's the part I miss about drag racing, is the sense of community, the sense of, even though I'm going to try to whoop your ass, I'm going to try to come across the stripe first. If you need a part, if you need wiring, if you need something, if you need a tire, the guys in the pits will come through because they're just as much into it as you are. Even the guy that you're running against will give you parts to get up on the line to run against him, because all they really want to do is get that competition in. It's an empty win when you're running the last run by yourself. It doesn't feel the same. But one of my best memories of drag racing was driving home from my local track, and my son is asleep in the back seat of the truck, and the trophy, he's asleep like this with the trophy right here, that I just won my first big race. That's what it's all about.
When are you going to do a junkyard video?
Junkyard? Mm-hmm. Well, okay. Down here in the South, the pick your part is right next to the river, which means in the summer and the spring and the fall means snakes. And I don't do snakes. I'm from Wisconsin. Okay. Guys down here in the South grew up with snakes. Okay. I don't do snakes. If we're going to do a pick your part, going to the junkyard, we're going to do it in the winter, because that's when they're hibernating and they're not around. That's when the waspers ain't there. That's when the chiggers ain't there, the ticks, the bugs, So, yeah, I got one that's 10 minutes from the house, sitting next to the Arkansas River. A huge pick your part. Yeah, I'll go hit it. I mean, yeah, I'll be more than happy to do that, because you can get some deals. But the biggie is going to be my honey hole, my guy that's just 10 minutes away, and, he's got at least a dozen small blocks and big block parts, but he's got at least a dozen heads, complete small block cores. And, but everything's in a way to get to him, because it's sitting in this 80-foot long, looks like a tin horn, the half moon, and got trucks on this end and trucks on that end, and everything's in the center. No way to get it out until somehow this winter we get it figured out. But I'll take you guys along on that one too.
What's your thoughts on cutting straps on spark plugs?
I've seen that coming up on the internet, and I think you're going to have a hell of an ignition system to fire that off to make that gap. Okay, 45 thousandths on a T45 T46 AC Delco. I mean, I don't understand it. It ain't nothing new. They used to try to do that back in the 70s and 80s. It's not a new thing. If you guys notice that everything kind of comes back around after a while, it's like people forget about it, and then they bring up something new like it's new, and it's not. I mean, but no, I'll never do that. I think that's kind of retarded.
What's your thoughts on piston curling?
Knurling,
Knurling, yeah.
that's the new fight online. Oh my God. I mean, between Uncle Tony and all their guys are talking shit because that's the Smokey unit kind of thing. You know, I mean, Smokey was like a savant. He was a genius. You know, he knew how to find the little gray areas that the rule book didn't really address. Okay, leave him alone. I'm not getting in the middle of that fight. I've been asked that online several times. I don't have a dog in that fight. Just give me a good manufactured cast or forged piston. I'm not messing with them. I mean, it's when you're dealing with 500 miles at 8,000 RPMs, and you can get just a minuscule. I mean, just that much better than the next guy. Yeah, it might be worth it, but just for daily driving and having fun with a car, no. I'm not messing with it. I'm not getting in that fight.
What's your favorite V8 engine?
My favorite what?
V8 engine.
454. Bottom line, I mean, just big inches. My favorite is big blocks. My favorite is 454s. I would love to build a 540 to be able to build a stroker and clearance the deal out. But I mean, these days you can buy them from like Blueprint cheaper than you can actually build them. You know, I mean, big inch, big blocks. I mean, I'm not talking about 800, 900 cubic inch monster motors, you know, tall decks and everything is special made and tens of thousands of dollars. But just for fun, a nice built 454 is manna from heaven for me. It just with a good cam in it and good exhaust and good intake and everything working right. 454 is my favorite.
Let's see here. Have you thought about doing no name? Have you thought about doing no name nations? Have you thought about doing no name nations?
Tell me what that is.
Sleepless Night says, I'm putting a 305 head on my SBC 350 square body, a good ignition system, and a nice set of heads.
Nice. Be a lot of fun.
D-Truth says, are you a Ford, GM, or a Mopar guy, and why?
Okay. That's a funny way to put it. My first car was a 69 Dodge Dart. I had it for 2 weeks. Had 318 in it, automatic. It was a Cheech and Chong special. It looked like the car on Cheech and Chong. It was 3 different colors of green, and it didn't smoke. But I mean, I bought it for like nothing from a lady I worked with, you would think that would make me the Mopar guy. My first hot rod that I rode in was a 66 Mustang. You'd think that made me fall in love with hot rods. You would think I'd be a Ford guy, but my second car, which after wrecking the Dart after 2 weeks, worked all summer to buy the next one. That was a 73 Monte Carlo, and I have been Chevy every step of the way after that. But I mean, I always like popular hot rodding and Carcraft and hot rod. For some reason, I always gravitated towards reading articles about Chevrolet engines. So when I bought that car from another lady I worked with on my weekend job, I was hooked. And I had already, because I'd been studying and reading all that time, I knew what to do with it. I knew from the day one, because it was a 350, it was a California car, it was a 73 Monte Carlo, it came from California, so I bought a 73 in 86. It was 13 years old. It was newer than my truck is out there right now when I bought it. But I knew it was two barrel, cast iron intake, cast iron manifolds, single exhaust, 2-into-1 with a muffler on it, family truckster, 73 Monte Carlo, and I had a plan. And over 9 years, I turned that thing into a beast. because I had learned everything I needed to know to do that very thing. And I did over the progression of everything I've been talking about all this time on this channel. Started with an exhaust, and then dual exhaust, headers, dual exhaust, and then an intake, and then a 600 Holley, and then a camshaft, and then a 750 Holley, and then, you know, better ignition. It was just a progression over years and years and years. But yeah, no, I will have to say I've been a Chevy guy from day one. As soon as I jumped in that hot rod, in that Mustang, because that's when I started building models and reading the magazines, and I knew everything about Chevy engines, because that was the majority of what was in the magazines then in the early 70s and mid 70s and early 80s. It was all Chevrolet stuff. It was, the majority of it was Chevrolet stuff. If you really think about it, it was big blocks, small blocks, how to make them run. Yeah.
Would a 400 block with a 327 main and a 6 in rods make high RPMs?
No. The longer the rod, the less RPM you're going to be able to push because of the stroke, because of the length. That's why 289s, Fords, and that's why 302 Chevys rev so high, because of the stroke was short. You know, you think about it. The more length you have to run to get that compression, the harder it is to hit RPM. You know, that's why big blocks, unless you do serious modification, are only good for about 6,500 RPMs because of the stroke length. You have to lighten everything. You have to shave everything. You know, it's short strokes make RPMs. Long strokes make torque.
Okay.
That's why the 327s were so popular, because they'd sing because of the short stroke, the short rod length.
It wasn't fuel injected. It is a 85 square body that I'm putting a Vortec in that is getting a carb conversion. Yeah.
So if it was fuel injected to begin, okay, say that again.
It wasn't fuel injected.
Okay, it wasn't fuel injected.
It is a 85 square body that I'm putting a Vortec in that is getting a carb conversion.
Okay. Yeah. Then if you're the same person that was asking about the fuel pump, go with AC Delco, and then use a regulator on it with the turn line, and then you should be good to go. 6.5, 7.5 pounds, and you're good.
Are you going to PRI again this year?
No. Kenny's going to be out of town. He's going for a month to Georgia for where he's working at a dealership for classes to get his master's, Master Tech license, or ASIC certification. And Mike, one of my best friends in the whole world, he's got stuff going on in his life too. So all three of us that went together last year, we're not going this year. And so we are planning on SEMA for 26. So we're going to stay home for PRI. We're not going to go to PRI this year.
What's the fastest car you've been in a quarter mile, and what car?
Quarter mile was the Camaro bracket car with the big block in it. And it ran a 988 at the quarter mile on a strip in Kansas, because that was bracket racing. It was kind of funny. They either run 1,000 for 8th mile, even back in the early 2000s, but that track in Kansas run an actual quarter mile. And I found out, because I hadn't run a quarter mile, because all my local tracks were 1,000 foot or 8th mile, and when you're going that fast in a car you're not used to going that fast in, and although it was caged up and everything, and for my own protection, it was really floaty when I went through the stripe. It was almost a point where almost like I wish I had a chute to pull. It was humming, and it was pulling RPMs, and it was at the top of its range, and it was a little scary, because I hadn't been that fast in that car in a long time. So I I don't remember what the RPM, what the mile per hour was, but it was a 988 is what I crossed the stripe on, and that was on a Friday night test and tune just to see what it would do, and it kind of scared me. And now, I mean, I've been in other people's cars that run 8 flats, 750s, as a passenger strapped in. But to drive it yourself and have to keep it in the lanes, whenever the ass end is kind of floating a little bit, and because the tires swell, and you're running, a good mile per hour. I'll never forget that experience. But the fastest I've been in the car was in that Monte Carlo. I mean, back in our day, we have I-40, the town I grew up in, I-40 passed right down through the middle of it. And I did 150 plus in that big land yacht, 4,000-pound car, because it had 256 gears in it and that hot engine. And I passed a semi on the curb because I was running another guy. We were running exit to exit, which is about 2 miles where I grew up. And we passed a semi on the curb, on the shoulder. And the day I sold that car, my friend's fingerprints were still in the dash because he had his head down and he was for me to stop, and I just held it. I won, but that's the kind of shit we did when we were young. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing that now, but I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, we did the math, and it came out to like 154 miles per hour with the gear ratio and the RPM I was running and everything. It was a lot of speed for an old clunker of a car. We did a lot of dumb shit back in our day.
TLC 94 says, "Hey, Uncle Buck, I did the brakes in my 350 went okay. I haven't ran it since because I'm wrapping up some other projects. I ran it off a gas can. I pulled the tank out. New tank will be here Saturday."
Yep. Once they get that old, the new tank is a must.
I'll button it up and see if she drives. I tagged you in my YouTube video.
Cool.
What's your thoughts on gapless rings?
See, again, we're right back into the 80s. That was the Total Seal gapless rings back in the day. The ones that kind of like, do this. That's not a new idea. I mean, like I said, they wait long enough and then they try to put it back out on the market like it's something new. Okay, now, I don't really see anything wrong with them as long as you're not doing any kind of a power adder to it, especially nitrous. Because the problem with nitrous is that the steel rings expand faster than the aluminum does on the piston. And that's what breaks stuff, okay? Because that steel ring, if you have a certain amount of gap and you put that heat to it from that, they go bam, and they hit each other. And that pressure, it swells, and it's got nowhere to go but up or in or out. That pressure's got to go somewhere, and that's what breaks pistons, and that's what ruins engines with nitrous. Total Seal rings you can't run any kind of power at all. It's got to be naturally aspirated. And then you're still having a problem of just making sure you have enough when it's from being cold to getting warm, and those gaps start, because there's a ledge on those rings, right? And if those ledges hit and it's still wanting to swell, what's going to happen? Same thing as nitrous, I've never been a big fan of it. I saw right through that one even back in the 80s. It was never something I even entertained.
Okay, TLC said, "I did make a mistake doing the break-in. I had a vacuum disconnect for initial time. Didn't take hookup when I increased to 2,500 RPMs. It's running, so I left it, hooked it up and hooked it up after I ran a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, but as long as you did your 2,500 RPMs breaking it in, you're good.
What are you doing for benches at the new shop? I have not put anything in ours because I hate having flat surfaces. Just collects crap, but I need something. Just curious what on your plans.
What's on my plan is I have a really nice restaurant supply company that's just over the bridge, which is 10 minutes away. And and if I have to buy tables, I'm going stainless, because the same thing as this counter, stainless. I mean, I've beat on this counter for 20 years now, and it's still just as nice as when I got it. I mean, it's got a couple of stains on it, but really if you'll notice, like transmission shops, they buy old restaurant stainless tables. I mean, they got a real nice shelf on them. They're metal, they're heavy duty, they're built to last. They'll never rust, so I think besides the toolbox, which I'm not planning on like trying to stuff that building full of stuff. I have some specific things I want to do, but if I'm going to buy a table to sit next to my toolbox, it's going to be a restaurant supply company 8-footer, 3 foot tall, 3 foot deep, with a shelf on the bottom of it, so that I can get it oily, transmission, whatever, and it'll just wipe right up. A little window cleaner or anything, wipe it down, you're good to go. So that's what I'll be doing if I need a table.
Do you have a preferred 400R4 overdrive kit for a C10? I've got one in my project because it didn't have a trans, so I went with it.
Not really. No, I mean, now 200 and 700Rs, they have their issues, but there's companies out there over all these years now, decades, they figured out what the weak spots in them are. I've got a 700R4 sitting up at my friend's house, that's just waiting to go into something. I got a Turbo 400 sitting over there. I got a Turbo 350 sitting over there. I mean, it's overdrives. Now, the new thing that everybody's going to is I can't remember what they're called, but they bolt on the back of the transmission, and they have an actuator, and they are actually an overdrive. After the fact, you got to shorten your drive shaft and everything. But everybody that's doing the drag and drive sees will love them, because you can go 1-to-1 until you hit that button for the overdrive, and you can run it down the drag strip and run your Turbo 400 in front of it. But I mean, it's 6 1 half does the other. I mean, it's just a matter of how deep your pocket is and how much work you want to do. Drive shaft, and another thing about those overdrive systems is that they don't like to sit in the floorboard. Well, you have to modify the floorboard to get them to fit, because they're bulky. So the tunnel for the floorboard has to be modified. So me, if I ain't got to, cut and weld and mess with what the factory did, then if I decide I want to do a cruiser for on the highway, then we'll do a 700R4, because it'll fit underneath the tunnel, and I ain't got to do no modification. Just get a kit off of Amazon to get the lockup to work, and you're good. The older I get, the more I'm more reverting back to simplicity. The more things you have to deal with, the more things you have a chance of things messing up. So mechanical, no electronics, wiring, leave it alone. What?
What's your thoughts on rotating pistons?
Rotating pistons. Elaborate on that one for me. What do you mean by rotating pistons?
Car Guy says, no name nationals where YouTubers get together and go race at a track here in Missouri and film. It's all mingle.
Oh, that sounds like fun. I mean, I'm 3 hours away from Missouri. What part of Missouri Is it Springfield? Is it, Kansas City? Is it St. Louis? What part of Missouri?
And Petra says, Machine Shop sent me a video of them decking the block of my 383. I should be picking it up shortly. Picking up short block next week. Jimmy says, hi, Uncle Buck.
Hi, Jimmy.
Project says, that's a good idea. I didn't think of something like that.
See, that's what
talk about the counters.
Yeah. No, I mean, this was in here when we bought the house. The detached insulated garage was here. That was the selling point of the house. But this counter was in here when I got it. And like all the screws are countersunk. So you can't, you ain't hooking nothing on it. And like I said, I can get this thing filthy. And some spray foam window cleaner, and and some paper towels, and it's like brand new. I mean, I welded on this thing, painted on it, tried to stain, and it's Timex. It just takes a licking and keeps on ticking. So if I'm buying tables for the new shop, it's going to be, stainless tables, out of like a restaurant.
What would be your dream muscle car to have?
72 Chevelle. I like second gen Camaros. That's what I grew up with. That's my but the one car I've never had, I had a 67 Chevelle. Just in trade, and it dropped in my lap, and it was a great, cool car and everything. And it was worth the one car I've ever owned. It was worth the most amount of money, but to me, as long as the chassis is the same, if it's a Malibu, I don't care. It doesn't have to be a SS Super Sport. A Malibu will do me just fine because I can build a fun, make me happy car out of a Malibu. It won't be worth as much money because it's not a Chevelle, but I've always just wanted a Chevelle in a 70 to 72, preferably 72. That would be my go-to. That would be that's my one bucket list car that I'm looking for. And I almost had one. I almost had a 72 Malibu, but it got sold before I could get there to get to it. And it was just a couple miles away. But it was a basket case, but it was titled 72 Malibu. But I missed that chance. But there'll be more. There will be more. What's the matter, baby?
No.
Getting tired?
A little bit.
A little bit. What time is it?
It's after 9. Quarter after.
Quarter after 9?
Yep.
That went fast. All right, you guys got the last questions?
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, we got more?
Yeah, you've been rambling.
Okay, go. Hit me. Let's do a speed round.
I got an 84 square body C10, 350, 4-over, pre-stocked, just through a 600 CFM Edelbrock intake and summit headers and glass packs.
A lot of fun.
John the dude. So the 400 go with short rods with the pop-up pistons?
Unless you want to buy special gas.
Pop-up position.
Yeah, pop-up pistons. That's going to be high compression pistons. You want to run race gas, you can. I myself am going to build everything pump gas friendly from this point on, because that's, just pull up to the pump and just fill it up and go. You're not really. We're not drag racing. We're driving them to have fun.
Rotating pistons is removing the piston and reinstalling it after rotating it at 180 degrees.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to change the holes that they go in just to see what it does. I've never done it. Never been my thing,
Okay. Got a 700 R4, so it would be good on the highway. Mid 350 build. Truck didn't have a drive shaft either, so it didn't cost more anymore either way. Went
Yeah.
to single shaft on a longer.
On a long bed. Went through the single shaft without the carrier bearing on it, which is fine. They made them both ways. The 73 to like 79s, they were single shafts. And from 80 to like 87, they had carrier bearings on them for the long beds, especially the 3/4 tons or like the camper specials, the heavy halves. They had carrier bearings on because they were pushing a lot of weight, and so. But if they were just a standard, just driving around family truckster, it was a single shaft for a long bed.
Scaling says I can only drive automatic. My dad tried teaching me how to drive standard, but I couldn't do it.
Well, Christina can. When it ain't her car, she had a friend that he had this little Toyota or something, and she would beat the piss out of that little car. I took my driving test in a standard. I mean, growing up on the farm back in the 70s, you just learned how to drive 3 on the tree, 3 on the floor, 4 on the floor. You just learned how to, driving tractors and all that stuff. You learned how to drive a standard. And I took my driving test in a standard, and I have all the stuff in the closet, bell housing, pedal assemblies, springs, everything to put a 4-speed in whatever, small block, big block. I've got the whole schmear sitting in there ready to go. So yeah, one of these days I'm going to build something with a standard in.
We could teach you to drive stick. Once you got a stick, it's hard to get back and go back.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it like around my area up a little bit north, there's an area up there where everything is twisty and turning. You're up and down, you're in and out, and it's in the woods and it's green, it's beautiful, and there's trees everywhere, and the scenery is great, but it's like a roller coaster. Okay, and a standard on that road is you're driving through the apex of a curve. It's so much fun when you have a really good running performance car that handles good with a 4-speed or a 5-speed or even a 6-speed. They're a lot of fun.
Kevin says, thank you for the video. Recently watched your video on replacing a mechanical fuel pump on a SBC. Mine leaked bad and never done it before. My great grandfather 1977 Chevy truck.
That bolt on that shaft is gold. I mean, that's like I said, that's something from the 70s that everybody knew. That's one of those kind of things that everybody forgot. I'm glad to help. I'm glad you have a good time. I mean, that's what this is all about.
John says, good night, good time.
Good night, good times. Appreciate you, John.
Sleepless Night says, do a live when you get to Vegas. See y'all soon. Have safe travels. God bless.
We've already decided that we're probably doing a live Thursday night in the hotel room at Vegas. We might do it you know what? What we should do is we should do it in the beer garden by the Band Riser on Fremont Street Thursday night, the 14th. Because we get on a plane Friday afternoon to come back home. Yeah. So that's a good idea. We should do a live in the beer garden at the Four Queens, listen to the band. Be there or be square.
If you can be heard.
We'll put the stuff in. We'll put the stuff in. We'll get heard.
Let's see here. Kevin says 77 SBC Chevy truck with a turbo 350. I like to drive it on long cruises, so a lot of highway driving. Should I look at a 700 R4 or a 200 R4 or something different?
Well, what kind of RPMs range are you pulling on the highway at, say, 65 or 70 miles per hour? If you're already doing it on the highway and you're enjoying it on the highway, why mess with it? I mean, why pull something out that's already working for you and put something else in, unless you really want to stretch it out? And like, if you're worrying about gas mileage, things like that, I say if it's working for you, enjoy it. I mean, but between the two,
he says, I don't know, no tack.
Oh, does it sound like it's pulling out RPM, or does it just cruising? Is it a higher pitch or is it a lower pitch as you're cruising? because that's the determining factor. Because I mean, I had a turbo 350 in the Monte Carlo for a long time, and it had a 256 or 273 gears, and I would go down the highway doing 2100 RPMs and just all day long, and it was great. I liked that old car on the highway.
D-True said, great show, glad I subbed. Thank you.
Appreciate you very much for the sub. Remember, guys, smash the like button. That really helps.
Project says, do the zip line.
I'm doing Slotzilla this year. I'm definitely doing Slotzilla. That's what we should do. We should turn the camera on while we're doing the Slotzilla.
Okay. There you go.
I'll videotape you going down. I'll just be like,
yeah.
Because we have a picture of her on the last time we went. I mean, her smile is this big. She was having the time of her life.
Dan says, hey, Buck, how are you doing? This is Dan here.
Hi, Dan.
Yes, do a live.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, come on. You guys have been with me from the beginning. Most of you guys have. I mean, why wouldn't we? You know, why wouldn't we just do it? You know, I mean, we're gonna be 3 days in, 4 days in. We're gonna be tired. This will be time just to sit down and have some cold ones, and just we'll do a live from the beer garden at the Four Queens.
Dietrich says, good night. Thanks all for the readings. All your questions, great voice.
Appreciate that very much.
Lower runs and drives great, but looking for an easier drive. Don't want to stress it while doing 70, 80.
Yeah. If that's what your concern is, between the 200 and the 700, I would just a cruiser, I would go with the 700, because to make the 200 handle any kind of decent horsepower, you got to buy a lot of aftermarket parts, drums and planetary gears and things like that to make it hold. With the 704, it's not as very much beefier, but it was built to go behind the Corvettes and the Camaros, to have a little bit more oomph to them, a little bit more torque. So if I had to make a choice, I'd go 700.
Mars says, thanks for the live stream. Have a good weekend. Michael says, you should do a live video from the Elvis Chapel.
Well, funny you say that, because the last time we were in Vegas was on our 25th wedding anniversary, and we got remarried by Elvis.
Yeah.
And all the family came. There was 17, 18 of us.
Something like that.
In the chapel. We had a good time. We had such a good time. They told us to come back for our 50th, and it was free. But then I forgot the reason we're Four Queens is I forgot the marriage certificate from the procedure. I forgot it in a hotel room, and we were staying at Four Queens, and she asked me, you got it? You got it? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. And we got home, and I didn't have it. And 3 days later, FedEx, protected, came in a package from the Four Queens. No questions asked, no bill, no nothing. I'm Four Queens for life. We are, no matter what happens, we are going to stay there with them. And the last time we went, they sent a limo for us at the hotel, at the airport. So we'll never stay anywhere but the Four Queens. Never stay anywhere but the Four Queens.
Let's see here. Great show. We always look forward to it. Good night. The car guy says, no name national is in Silkton, Missouri.
I'm not familiar. Where is that at?
Sykes.
Is it northeast, southwest? We did a lot of stomping back in the day at Ozark. We did at Mocan. I've been wanting to go to the new one in Kansas City, but that was about as far as we went with CDRA, was Mocan and Ozark. So, and that, I think Ozark is still in Arkansas, and maybe Missouri, but what part of Missouri is that in? I mean, if it's within 4 or 5 hours, it might be a doable sometime in the future.
Dan says, I might get busy this weekend trying to fix the lawnmower and other stuff in the yard too.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, my lawnmower is 17 years old, and I patch it together every year. I just can't make myself spend the dime for a new one. You know, I got a Cup Cadet. It's a 08 model, and I've been patching that and welding up decks and changing bearings, assemblies for years, and so and the money for another lawnmower. I think if this one finally, if that motor ever goes down, and that thing ever just completely dies, I'm gonna hire it out. I'm just, you know, it's money well spent instead of spending the money for a new one. But we gotta get up early. Concrete truck is coming in the morning, 6 a.m. I'm gonna get in there and we're gonna edit some stuff up and get the new one out. And I really appreciate all of you guys. I look forward to this all week long. I mean, I can make videos all day long and edit stuff up, but I really look forward to this. I really do. So we're going to see you next Thursday. The video for everything that I showed you for the foundation is going to go up Tuesday. Then I have a regular video about pistons coming out Sunday. You guys can check that one out. And you guys just have a great day and a great week. And we're going to see you. I don't plan on ever stop doing this. You know, I guess sometimes I gotta talk her into it because she's had a long week. But I really enjoy this, guys. I really, really, really do enjoy this. Okay. So if you guys got any questions about anything, send me an email or send me a message through YouTube or whatever. I'm always here. I'm always willing to help, because that's the whole part about this, is just helping, learning from helping. So we're going to call it a night, and you guys have a great one. Next week.